Hey girl, if you're the woman who feels like she keeps on starting over with her fat loss, and maybe on a Monday you decide this week you're going to download a new meal plan, you're going to promise yourself once again you're going to track every calorie, you're going to hit your protein goal, you're going to drink more water, you're going to get 8 hours of sleep, you're going to walk 10,000 steppy steps, you're going to strength train 3 days a week, you're going to stop eating sugar, you're going to stop emotional eating, and then by the end of the week you are exhausted. And if that's you, I want you to know something. I don't think that you're failing. I also don't think you're lacking motivation or discipline or that you're lazy. I don't think that for 1 second. But I do think that you may be overthinking this all and you're overwhelmed because you're trying to build an entirely healthy lifestyle all at one time. And that's exactly why today I recorded this episode. So if you can relate to any of that, this episode is for you. Let's get into it. Hey girl, welcome back to another episode of Rock That Fitness with Anna Rockstar. And you, it's just me and you today, girl. I have a lot on my mind, on my heart. And I hope that today's episode, there's going to be some things that you're going to walk away with, maybe something that you hadn't thought about, a breakthrough you might have today when we talk about some things. Do we have any updates today? Updates. I think I'm on like day 10 of this cold, this chest congestion and cough. So my voice is still very rough. If you're wondering, this is not my smooth, cool radio voice. It's kind of rough, but we're going to make it work. We're going to make it work. And I'm recording this episode on Friday. And as you know, I like to do things on Thursday, but this whole week has been a little bit hijacked by a couple of things. One thing being the mama cat and 5 kittens that I have been taking care of day after day, feeding them a few times a day, taking care of the kitty condo, the kitty litter, the cleaning up, and visiting them at least 3 times a day. I go inside that cage and hang out, and man, time flies when you're just hanging out with kittens. So I gotta watch it. But that has taken up some time because I had to go to the Humane Society a couple times, got a voucher to take care of Mama Cat, get her spayed, and then I'm gonna release her back into the yard. And if she sticks around, that's great. She's kind of cool. Country Boy likes her, which is really funny, right? Because if you know how this all started, he had seen her months ago and was thinking he was going to get rid of the stray cat that was hanging around her yard. And then she showed up with kittens. Well, they didn't happen right after Mama passed away, but we noticed them the day after she passed away. So interesting. Anyway, that's been taking quite a bit of time, along with some other personal items that I've been dealing with in my life. As you know, there's, to deal with an estate and those kind of things. So there's been that, and then this cold. So it's been fun, and I have been a day late every day this week, not just with work. And I was joking about this on my Instagram story today, but thankfully my boss is very understanding. She understands, my boss. Because like I usually do my grocery shopping on Wednesday, that didn't happen until Thursday, and usually send out my Rockstar Fit Chick weekly. I think Wednesday, that didn't happen until Thursday, and then today, like I'm doing this podcast instead of yesterday, but you know what, it is what it is. So here's the great thing, right? We focus on what's good. What is good? I am getting better. What is good? I'm getting in the groove of taking care of these kittens. I'm making some connections through different groups on Facebook and feeling hopeful that I'm going to find homes. I got that voucher, right, for Mama Cat. And just so many wonderful things I am so grateful for. And I say that because this morning when I sat down to write in my journal, I decided to write down some things that I have had happen in the past many months, in the last 18 months, that has just been like one loss after another, and some huge things that have happened in the past 18 months. I wrote those all down, and then I started writing down the things that I am grateful for. And I'm really grateful and thankful for my health and the habits and behaviors that I have built, so that even though I went through all these things, I'm not here having a pity party and not taking care of my body and myself. And so much to be grateful for. And so thankful for my life and my kids and my husband and, country boy, such a supportive human being. I'm so thankful for him. Anyways, I think is there any more updates? What other updates are there? I don't know. I'll get into it. I should do a side note, 2 side notes. First of all, we're at the end of week 2 with Kickstart, round 14, with my small group of ladies right now, which I am proud and happy to say that they are learning the Rockstar ways, and it's so fun to see women showing up differently and recognizing the things that they hadn't recognized in the past and ready to make changes and things that they haven't done so they can do it differently. And if you've been around here any amount of time, you know what I mean when I say that. I'm not talking about doing it differently. Yes, our method with calories, macros, and strength training and those kind of things, those are, maybe it's different for some people when they come into Rock That Fitness. But here's the thing that is definitely different. The way that we think has to be different. We can't come to this place in our health and fitness and think that we can continue to do all the things that we've done in the past. If we want to do something different, if we want a lasting change down the road in the future, we want a different outcome, we have to think differently. And that's what I'm talking about. Just watching these women in my Kickstart program right now that are seeing the things they need to think differently about and show up differently for themselves so that they can become that rockstar woman who is building that lifestyle for herself. So anyway, I just want to brag on them. Excited, Rockstar Women in Kickstart round 14 and week 2. If you're listening to the podcast today, super, super impressed with you and your dedication. And I've seen you working hard, and I've seen you overcoming your obstacles and your own personal frustrations and setting those aside and continuing to commit to yourself. So winning, we are winning, and winners win. And if you missed out on this round of Kickstart and you want to do the next Kickstart with me, my next small group, 6 weeks, go to the show notes and get on my priority list, and you'll be first to know when I open the doors for the next small group. Woo, that was a mouthful. And about that, you don't need to do my small group to join Rock That Fitness membership. So if you are done doing all the things, this is usually my clients that come to Rock That Fitness are the ones that are sick and tired of being sick and tired. They're ready to commit to themselves. They're ready to stop with their own BS, stop with excuses, and start taking some actions today and following through and learning to trust themselves, letting go of perfection, all of that, and changing the way you think. And you don't have to do anything if you want to just join Rock That Fitness. That is also in the show notes. Join us today. You can join me today. And if you have questions or you want to hop on a call with me, reach out to me. I'll be happy to talk with you to see if Rock That Fitness is a great fit for you, or if Kickstart small group is a great fit for you. Because I don't, if it's not a great fit for you, I don't want you to come in here, girl. It's got to be a great fit. That way we work very well together. You'll be coachable. And I'm happy to coach you because I know I can help you if you are ready to do it differently and you're coachable. So I think that is a great segue to head into, because I can't think of any other updates right now. And Rockstars and Rock That Fitness ladies, you too. Boom, boom. Lots of amazing wins happening in there. You know who you are. Well, you're all winners, of course. But just really proud and impressed with those of you who are showing up and sharing and inspiring others inside the group. So just got to shout out a little bit to my Rockstar ladies because I'm really proud of our RTF family. And what can I say? You're just amazing. So let's talk about today's episode. What am I going to talk about today? Today, I am talking about making fat loss not so complicated. Easy, simple, because it's not complicated. You know I talk about this. But today I want to really focus in on something that is more habit focused. It's more like, this is more like a habit subject, a habit conversation. And I was inspired for this episode because last Friday, I had the not last Friday, sorry, I take that back. Last Monday evening, I had the opportunity, I was invited to come and speak with a group of women right before they did their water aerobics class. And I stood at the poolside and gave a short talk on some habit things. And one of the biggest takeaways the women that I talked to afterwards had was, wow, I'm trying to do too many things at one time. And what I'm taking away from what you talked about today is I'm going to focus on one thing. And they shared with me what their one thing was. It may not have necessarily been about fat loss. It could have been, in their mindset or some other goal that they've been trying to achieve. So let's chug the jug. I'm going to drink some water here real quick. And with a whistle. But that's how come I'm inspired to talk about this today. One thing that I have learned over the years as a registered nurse and through my own 60-pound weight loss journey, which, that wasn't just weight loss, that was recompositioning my body, and from coaching hundreds of women over 40, is that lasting change doesn't happen because we do more. And the other thing I notice about the clients that I tend to coach are women come to me. These women are typically high achieving women, very smart, and they do know what to do. And they know what they need to eat to be healthy. They know what they need to do. They know what exercise. They know all the things that they need to be doing. And they may be trying to do too many things at one time, or they may not be doing it at all. And their mindset things going on with that, right? And it happens because we focus on in Rock That Fitness, how we make lasting change happen is that we focus on, and I help my clients focus on on the right thing at the right time. Because just because it's the right thing to do doesn't mean it's the right time to do it. And I believe that our healthy lifestyles, our healthy fit lifestyles are built. They're built, not purchased and not borrowed. I believe that we personally build our own healthy fit lifestyle. So instead of trying to change everything this week, I want to introduce you to a simple framework that I'm experimenting with this, but it's my framework, and I came up with this, and it's something that I use with my Rockstar ladies, and I'm calling this the Rock Method. And the beautiful thing, rock as in R-O-C-K in the USA, and the beautiful thing about this framework is that it doesn't just apply to fat loss. It can be used to build any habit in your life. And I'm a habit and behavior expert. It's so funny to say that, but I am. I'm actually certified. And that's what I love to do. And this is what I hear my clients all of these years. Out of everything that I do in RTF, I hear this over and over. If there's one thing that has really impacted me inside of RTF, it's changing how I think and changing my mindset and these things. We throw that word mindset around, but mindset is so many things, like changing the way that we think so that our actions and our behaviors are different. So let's talk about this. Let's break down the ROCK method today. Brand spanking new concept, method. It's not brand spanking new. I'm just putting an acronym to it for us to better grasp it and understand it. So R stands for recognize, and O stands for organize, and C stands for cultivate, and K stands for keep becoming. And I'm going to break this down today specifically for fat loss, Because what tends to happen when it comes to putting your meal plan together, putting your nutrition plan together for fat loss is just going to go all in. I'm going to start tracking my calories. And one of the biggest mistakes that I see women making time and time again is they jump right into calculating a calorie deficit for their fat loss, but they have skipped some very important steps in the process of habit building and habit layering. And so, quickly, what I'm saying is that we don't want to do that. If we have not yet established a habit of, first of all, becoming aware and beginning the tracking of our food process, right? Just tracking your food alone, if you haven't mastered that skill and that habit, and you're jumping straight into a target on your calories, you're doing yourself a very big disservice, because you're going to end up frustrated trying to track calorie deficit or your target in your calories when this habit hasn't been established of doing this on a consistent basis and mastering that skill. The beautiful thing about this is it is a skill, and you're smart and you're intelligent. And as you practice that skill, you get better at it. But we must first do that, right? And this is the mistake that I have been seeing time and time again, jumping into the calorie deficit. And then the other one is that not just jumping into the calorie deficit. Now I'm going to do all these things. I'm going to also make sure I'm tracking my protein and my fiber and how much water am I drinking? Am I getting enough steps? Am I showing up to my workouts? You see, this can become very overwhelming. And this is why we need to stop the madness and get back to building one habit at a time. So let's talk about that with fat loss and R in ROCK. So we recognize that everything begins with awareness. It doesn't begin right away with restriction. Well, there's a certain amount of restriction, right, in anything that we're working on when it comes to these things. I am not saying we never restrict. I'm saying we don't overly restrict. I just had to put that in there as a caveat. But we begin with awareness. We don't begin right away with a calorie deficit. We don't begin, and we are never going to begin with trying to be perfect at anything. It's just becoming aware. So, like for myself, before I ask myself to change anything in my own life, I first need to recognize what's already happening. And this is, I'm going to ask you, follow along with me. If you struggle in this area of fat loss, ask yourself this. Before you want to change anything right now we're in the R, we're in the recognize. We have to first recognize what's already happening. And maybe you've already done that, right? What's happening? What am I eating throughout the day? When do I tend to overeat? When and what situations trigger or cause me to react in emotional eating? And what habits am I repeating without even thinking about them? You see, this is the awareness that I'm talking about. And this is why I encourage my Rockstar ladies to, if they've never done this, first start tracking your food before you ever worry about trying to be perfect about it or accurate about it. We're simply gathering information. And we have to give ourselves permission to show up imperfectly doing this, because you're not going to do it perfectly. And I always tell my Rockstar ladies, awareness is not punishment. It's taking your power back. When we become aware, you've seen this time and time again, I'm sure, on motivational signs and things. You can't change what you don't know, right? So awareness is the first step, right, to change. Okay, we can't change anything if we don't first recognize it. That's the R. Now let's go into the O of rock. Organize. So here, once we have awareness, now we can organize our next step. What is the next step for us? And, I know that you have probably been doing all the things. So I'll get to that in a minute on how do you know where to start. If you've been doing all these things, I'll get there. All right. Notice that I said, what's my next step? Not what's my next 10 steps. And this is where so many women get into trouble. And it's probably where you have stumbled. You try to improve everything. We just said, try to improve everything at one time. You're trying to improve everything at one time, okay? And instead, we want to organize one priority. So for fat loss, that's usually going to be creating a calorie range. That's going to be a calorie range that supports your goals, not somebody else's calorie range. It's going to be a calorie range that's calculated specifically for you and your body, your height, your weight, your age, your gender, your activity level. And we're going to do this after we've become aware. So the awareness part is important, but the awareness part also, part of the awareness here, organizing, this could be in between the recognize and organize, which is just tracking all of your calories to determine what your maintenance calories are before you decide on a calorie deficit. It's a great tool. So, but there are two ways that I coach on determining a calorie range, and that doesn't necessarily mean that that is your calorie deficit when it comes to fat loss. It is a starting number. I always do that. Got to start somewhere. So once that starts to feel, once you start doing this and working on this, right, after we've done that, we organize. The next thing is going to be, so we've got awareness, and then we organize calories. What is your maintenance? Now, what is your calorie deficit? Working on that. Now we move to making, focusing in on protein. And then we may gradually increase to focusing on fiber by adding in more fruits, vegetables, beans, whole grains. But there is a sequence to all of this when it comes to fat loss. This is why we only focus on one habit at a time, because every habit needs to support the habit before it. Okay, we don't want these habits to compete with each other because our brains can really only establish one habit at a time. It's probably a good spot to mention that building a habit does not take 21 days. Building a habit does not take, what was the other 31 days or 30 days, 21 days to build a habit. Building a habit takes as long as it takes. Building a habit takes as long as it takes you, because we're all so different. And one of the last studies that I had read was about 66 days, but really it's how long it takes you, okay? So I say that because you haven't built a habit if it's still work, mental energy you're still thinking about doing it all the time. It hasn't been built, okay? You've built the habit when you do it and you're not thinking about it. It's just something you just do regularly, routine kind of a thing, okay? So building the habit of actually tracking all of your calories, all of your food, every lick, bite, taste. Excuse me, I got a cough. Okay, everything you drink, everything. And remember, everything means everything. Butter, oil, condiments, alcohol, beverages, everything. Tracking all those calories and then focusing on calorie deficit. Then we're going to protein, then we go to fiber. Now, when it comes to fat loss, it's great. If you get all these things nailed down in your habits, that's wonderful. But when it comes to fat loss, calories is king, okay? You cannot lose fat unless you're in a calorie deficit. So you can hit your protein all you want, make sure you're getting plenty of fiber, but it's easy to eat calories, even when you're eating healthy foods, if you're focusing on calories. So I say this because, for example, if you are working on hitting your calorie deficit, and let's say you hit your calorie deficit by the end of the day, but you notice you didn't hit your protein target, that's okay. Because calories comes first when it comes to fat loss. You want to make sure you're hitting the calorie deficit. But anyway, the whole point here is you organize what habits need to be first and making sure you've mastered the habit before moving on to the next one. That's not to say not to do that, like not to be aware, right? You could be actually working on this habit of hitting your calorie target, hitting your calorie deficit, but being aware of the protein, but not making a habit of it yet, just being aware. But even that awareness will help you to be, slowly improving in that area as well. It all builds on one another. So as I said, there's just a sequence to all of this. And so every habit needs to support the one before it. All right, so that was recognize and organize. And now we are on to cultivate. Cultivating. This might be the most important part of the entire framework. Just depends on you. But we're not going to force habits. We're going to cultivate them. We're going to practice them. We're going to repeat these actions to create the behavior we want to repeat. Repetition is the mother of success. We must repeat. So, they say practice makes perfect. Well, we don't believe in perfection. Practice makes progress. Practice makes better. Practice makes improvement. But when we think about the word cultivate, think about a garden, okay? Because a gardener isn't going to be planting a seed and yelling at it to grow. Grow. And when it starts to grow faster, right? Because we want to create conditions where this growth is happening naturally. And so that's how I want you to think about cultivating your habits. Creating an environment that helps support that habit. And maybe that environment has to do with places that we are hanging out, or people that we're hanging out with, or what we're doing, or what we're keeping around the house, right? Is the environment, is it cultivating that habit that you're working on establishing and improving? So we want to keep on practicing. That's the cultivation piece of this. We repeat the behaviors until they begin to feel like normal, until they just begin to feel like everyday thing. Like, I just do this. It's my habit. I can attest to this because I track my food on a consistent basis. It's just something I've done. It's a habit. I don't feel like I need to do it, but it helps me because I know that when I let it go and I don't want to track, I just give myself a break sometimes. I say that I give myself a break, but not really give myself a break, because if it is a habit, it's not hard. I do it. I just do it. It's a routine thing. But one of the things it helps me with, this is how I should reframe what I just said. What it helps me with is knowing that I am getting enough calories for my activity level. It helps me recognize when I may not be getting enough protein, I'm not hitting my protein target, or fiber, or whatever it is. That habit of tracking my food all the time, I have cultivated it to the point where I don't think about it, and it takes me really hardly any time at all. Cheers, let's drink some water. And so we want to keep on practicing. When it comes to fat loss, you want to keep practicing tracking in that calorie deficit after you've built the habit of actually tracking your calories. And that doesn't mean that you can't do both. You can definitely do both. You can be practicing tracking your calories and practicing hitting that calorie deficit both at the same time. Yes, you can do that. And then you can practice the habit of actually getting better at hitting your calorie deficit, your calorie target, because that practice and repetition with that is awareness is happening inside of there, and you're becoming aware of how you can be flexible with things. Maybe you choose to eat more calories today in the first part of your day, and because you have an event that evening, or you want to switch different meals around or different food items around because you rather have one thing later on in the day. And so this is all part of the skills that you're cultivating in hitting your calorie range for your fat loss. And so same thing when you do that with your protein. Okay, and this is how you are going to strengthen your habits. And this is where you're going to strengthen all of your habits, whether it be your hydration, your sleep, your strength training, your recovery, and getting daily movement, walking, getting your steppy steps in, right? Because again, all of this skill as you continue to practice and giving yourself permission to show up imperfectly, giving yourself permission to practice. We're not here to be perfect. Nobody's ever going to master anything and become successful at anything by trying to be perfect. Success doesn't happen with success. Success happens with, if you want to call it failure, I don't call it failure, I call it feedback. If you stumble and fall, what happened? And then you learn from that, and it's feedback. Oh, this happened. I didn't hit my calorie deficit yesterday because whatever it is, you planned things a little bit in a way that didn't work out for you, or it doesn't even matter, because calorie deficit you're hitting daily, that's great, or you're not, because at the end of the week we're averaging it out anyways. So I just feel like I need to throw that in there. But we're not chasing perfection, okay? What we're doing is we're cultivating our healthy lifestyle, and that just takes repetition. Now let's go to the K, which is keep becoming. And this is where everything starts to come together, because at some point we're no longer just going to be tracking our food. We're going to become someone who pays attention. Even if you aren't tracking your food, you are paying attention. So I guess this is a good place to say, some people choose to not continue to track their food. It's got to be something that works for you. So just because I'm saying track your food, I track my food, that doesn't mean you have to track your food. But if you want accuracy and you want to know what's happening, highly recommend that you track it, because what doesn't get tracked doesn't get managed, right? Whatever doesn't get measured is what I say. Whatever doesn't get measured doesn't get managed. What gets measured gets managed. You're able to look at your data over a period of time, recognize, aware, see what happened, and say, oh, this happened. Now I can make an adjustment. So this is after you have built these skills. This is why I'm not a fan of people saying that they are going to intuitively eat if they've never become aware and understand their own personal energy balance. Energy balance. Calories are energy. The amount of calories your body burns, the amount of energy your body burns at rest, as well as with your activity, your total daily energy expenditure, all of that is energy. And so we need to know that you don't have to track, but once you have mastered knowing your own energy balance, then you may choose to intuitively eat if you want to, which if it works for you, great. I guess for me, I'm always asking the question, if you're happy with what you're doing and it's working for you, great, knock yourself out, keep it up. But if it isn't working for you, this is where we use these tools, okay? So you're going to become someone in the K, R-O-C-K, keep becoming. You're going to become someone who's paying attention to your nutrition regularly throughout the day, all day long. And that's not obsessive. It's just that you're aware. You've grown into this person. You have become this person who is no longer forcing yourself to be aware and know, because you've learned it. It's a habit already, right? No longer forcing yourself to show up to your workouts. It's a habit. And you're becoming a woman who values your nutrition, your health, your fitness. You value your self-care. You're becoming all these things. And you're becoming someone who just does it naturally. And that's important. That's a very important distinction. Okay? Because I don't believe that identity comes first. We can work on that, being and knowing, but these all work together. And the more you show up for yourself and repeat, that instills in our subconscious mind, and our subconscious mind begins to believe it is true. And then you follow through and you start doing this differently because it becomes natural for you. And so that's the distinction, right? It becomes natural. It's not forced anymore. You're becoming. It's a beautiful thing. And yes, it's absolutely possible. And I believe, like I said, that this identity that we are becoming is built from repeated action. That's why action is so important. That's why when you feel like you're off track and you haven't been you haven't been doing the things you need to do or feel like you should be doing to take care of your health, and you're feeling crappy and you're feeling exhausted, fatigued, bloated, whatever you want to call it, because you're way off track of taking care of your body, that's why we can't sit around waiting for motivation. We can't sit around waiting to like be, like sometimes you just gotta freaking take action. Like just do something. That first step, what is that, So action and repeated action is going to help you, because then you become that person. That's going to become your identity. The habits that we consistently practice begin shaping us into who we're becoming. All right, let's drink some water. Now I want to talk about this big mistake that I keep seeing. I'm sure you probably see it too. Maybe you experience it, but one of the biggest mistakes that I see, like I said when I started this episode, is us trying to master every healthy habit at one time. And also women thinking that they must master all these healthy habits before you can be successful. And that's just not true. It's not true. It's simply not true. If you're listening today and you're feeling overwhelmed, I want you to stop and ask yourself this question. What's one habit that deserves my attention right now? Ask yourself that. Because what we typically tend to ask is, how do I fix everything? I'm going to fix everything. I'm going to flip my life upside down right now, and I'm going to do it all. But how many times have we done that? And I'm just as guilty. The old me did that. That was years ago. Can't believe it's already been 9+ years since I made my decision. It's wild. It's 8+ years since I reached my goals, but it's been that long. And I used to do that too. I used to go all in. It's fine to go all in, but do all of it. Everything all at one time. How's that working? It didn't work for me, and it doesn't work for the women that I've worked with. It just doesn't work. We've got to take a step back and say, what is one habit that deserves my attention right now? Because maybe it's simply tracking your food. Maybe it's just that one habit. And if you need help, let me know. I'm happy to help. Maybe it's just creating that consistency in hitting your calorie deficit. Just because you have been working on something and you're not hitting that calorie deficit on a consistent basis doesn't mean you just throw in the towel. It means you need to work on this habit, right? Got to work on it. Maybe it's increasing your protein. I don't know what it is for you, or getting to bed 30 minutes earlier. If you start this habit and you find the slippery slope of not doing the habit, when you notice it, the moment you notice that you haven't been practicing your habit, boom, just get right back to it. I'll tell you what, the women who are the most successful in building their habits and getting the results they want with their fat loss are the women who get right back when they are off track, like quickly. So let's say one day you're off track, no big deal. Don't let 2 days go by. Just make it a personal rule. Get right back on it. And let me also, while I'm talking about this thing about what is one habit that deserves my attention right now, and you're going to make that decision for yourself when it comes to your fat loss. This one thing I feel like I really need to say, and you might be saying this too, and I stopped saying this a very long time ago, and I encourage you to do this too. When it comes to these goals, these habits, and your healthy behavior, your healthy lifestyle that you are working on, and girl, you deserve it. Totally deserve to give yourself the best opportunity for success in all of this, right? One habit at a time. But when you are working on it, guess what? You are working on it. That means you are doing it. You are doing it. So the thing we want to remove from saying ever again is trying. You're not trying. I'm putting this in here right now because lately I've been hearing some people say, I'm trying. Think about how wimpy that is. All that is a door out. It's a way out. It's giving you a little door to sneak out. So you can say later, well, I tried. Don't even give yourself that door. You're doing. And the reason we say I tried is because we're too afraid that we're going to fail. But when we let go of that and allow ourselves to fail, which you're not really failing, you're just showing up imperfectly because you're human. Okay? You're doing. You're doing. You are doing it. Okay? Just because you are jump roping, I'm just thinking about this. You're jump roping and you missed a step and you missed the rope, you start jump roping again, right? You just keep doing. You're not trying, you are doing. Just because you ate out, you took a fast, you did a fast meal because you were in a big hurry and you didn't plan ahead, so you went and had that, Whataburger and fries and Coke and all that, and it was just like a fleeting moment, because we're gonna have those. That doesn't mean that you failed. It just means that happened. It just means it happened. It means, what are you making it mean? It does not mean that you failed. Just means you're doing. We're not trying anymore, okay? Because trying is not doing. Trying is not doing. Adopt that for yourself, girl, okay? All right, getting back to my K. Keep becoming. You're going to keep becoming is what you're going to be doing. You're not going to be trying anymore. You're becoming. And you're worth it. And you deserve it. Don't let anything or anybody ever tell you differently. You choose. This is your life. You create your healthy, fit lifestyle, one habit at a time, okay? Maybe, I'm looking at my notes. Let's master one habit at a time, okay? And then, once you have mastered one habit, you can go to the next. And girl, I know I repeat this, but that's how we learn. We have to sometimes hear things more than one time. But please focus on that one habit that deserves your attention right now until you've mastered it. And then let's work on the next one so that you can stop this madness, so that you can actually finally achieve the results that you want. It's the fastest way, is building one habit at a time. The fastest way is not doing everything at once. How's that working? It's not working. That's how we build a healthy lifestyle. We build it. So let me ask you something. If you've been listening today, how much of this was, let's get real. How much of this was really new information? Probably not much. I'm guessing. You likely already knew, about calories and protein and strength training matters. You already know sleep, hydration, movement all support your health. So you already knew these things. So why? Why do we keep finding ourselves back at the beginning? That's the real question. And it's probably not because you need more information, right? Which is interesting because those of us who love to learn and keep going to school, somewhere in there, for a lot of us, we think we need more information. We need one more course. We need to listen to that one more podcast. We need to buy that one more book. But you don't. The problem here is truly just implementation. Take everything you've learned and learning how to manage your thoughts when life gets stressful. It's recognizing when we're being all or nothing before it takes over. It's working through perfectionism instead of letting it derail us, right? It's learning how to trust ourselves. You can learn to trust yourself. That's the work. That's the work that I love doing with my Rockstar ladies, because that's the work that creates lasting change. And only you can do that. I can't do that for you. Only you can do that. And you can do that. And not try to do that, but you can do that. So if you are tired of starting over, you're tired of thinking that you can't trust yourself to follow through, and you've been having fear of failure, so you don't try at all, you don't do it all, right? If that's you and you're tired of it, if you're tired of knowing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, struggling consistently to do it, I would love to help you. I know I can help you. I can help you inside of Rock That Fitness because we work on these things. We work on, obviously, fat loss, nutrition for fat loss. I'm not a fat loss program. I'm a lifestyle program. I'm here to help you build your healthy, fit lifestyle, which in doing that, the byproduct is those things that you want to achieve, your fat loss, you're building muscle, getting stronger. And then the most beautiful thing of all, you're becoming this beautiful rock star woman who shows up for herself. You're becoming the best version of you at any age. And that's why I wanted to bring this idea today that I'm experimenting with, this rock method, to this. Recognize, organize, cultivate, and keep becoming. So if anything in this episode today, if it resonated with you, I want to invite you. I want to invite you to come on in to Rock That Fitness membership. Do it today. Take the action. It could be scary. I've heard this. I've heard women say, I'm scared. I see your workouts. I see you working out online. I don't want you comparing yourself to me. I want you to start right where you are and just build from there. Do you think that everything I do today and how I live my life and how I think, I just magically appeared this way and I just magically do this? No. I went through this process and I go through this process now too when I'm working on something myself. And so I do want to invite you. You can go down to the show notes, join Rock That Fitness. I'll be happy and excited when you do. I'll see you inside the RTF app in Messenger, and we can chat back and forth. I'll be happy to get on a call with you. Or if you don't know for sure if this is a great fit, like I said, just let's get on a call, and I'll let you know if it's a great fit. Because if it's not, that's okay. If it's not for you, then it's not for you. I do hope that there was something in today's episode that was helpful, though. But I will tell you that the Rockstar ladies in RTF, they tell me this time and time again, that really the greatest transformation is not just with the things we're doing with our food and our fitness and our bodies. It's in the way that we think. Because when we can manage our thinking, change the way we think, that is the beginning of change, because our thoughts create our actions and behaviors. And when we repeat those actions and behaviors, we're going to have the result, okay? Right? And so this is how my clients gain confidence. This is how they learn to trust themselves and build their healthy, fit lifestyles. When we change the way that we think, we can change the way that we live. And I do this too. I'm still doing it. Personal development never ends. There's always something to work on. That's what creates transformation, lasting transformation from the inside out. So if you listened to this whole episode today, thank you for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. I appreciate your time. That's a commodity that we can never get back. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate you and how much I love you. And thanks for hanging out. I want you to think about, as we close up, I want you to think about like 10 things that you need to improve, okay? Think about 10 things. Maybe write them down in a journal or something, 10 things. But then I want you to think about one, just one. Ask yourself, like I said a little while ago, what habit deserves my attention today? Then give yourself permission to stay there until it becomes part of who you are. Because lasting change is not built by changing everything at once. It's by changing one habit. It's by building one habit at a time. That's it. That's all I got. That's all she wrote. Thanks, girl. Remember, self-care, self-love, all day, every day, in every way. Do I have your word? Good. Let's rock.